Here's the question in no uncertain terms. What makes organizations unfit to perform? Silent killers. For many years in the C-suite or on the shop floor or when I was standing next to the water cooler, I heard the same message over and over from my peers. We don't want to go into uncharted territories, uncharted waters, so we'll continue to do what we know how to do best, which is admit we have issues, but then we're going to throw programmatic antidotes at them. And that's kind of pathetic. So this is the ubiquity of the silent killer situations. When your employees know more than you think they know, and at the same time, they're scared to bring the organizational truths up to the top of the organization, right? For a variety of reasons. The fact of the matter is, the valid, verifiable data is not getting to you. So we will always have heard that it takes a burning platform to make change happen. Well, I don't know if you believe that or not, but I can tell you right now in our cities, they're burning. Our companies are reeling, and uncertainty and fear are at all-time highs, in part because we still have this toxic cocktail that just won't go away. COVID, financial problems, race equity. They're but a few of the perfect ingredients that go into this cocktail. They're not going away anytime soon. So what do we need to do? So I'll come up with two important statements I want you to hear. Both of them I ask you to take seriously. They make a lot of sense. One is, to do things the same way and expect different results is insanity. You've heard that before. So don't feel compelled to rush back to the old way of doing things. Number two, what made you successful in the past will not make you successful in the future. There's no guarantee of that. So let's get down into the emotional nitty-gritty. According to some of the most recent research, some 800 companies, there are at least 6 devastating silent killers under there that leadership teams know about. They've just simply neglected them. And we need to talk about that. And frankly, it's shocking. As you look down the slide on the 6 silent killers I've listed, it's easy to see how they can be suddenly destroying your ability to execute your strategy, to destroy engagement, to achieve growth and wealth for everyone. For the sake of time, let's just take a look at the first one, race equity and bias. If you were to treat this issue as an organizational capability and work on it within the context of the organization, you can solve this pretty quickly. There's no doubt about it. You have the power to change policies, procedures, and practices. You can create truly inclusive, innovative work cultures and teams. Actually, that's what Agile is doing for you. So now you see the relevance of the statement, what made you successful in the past does not promise you successfulness in the future. That's a fact. The next slide, I'm giving you a process of inquiry that you can use tomorrow with your teams. Your workforce, your executive team. Those are great questions with answers that you need. But a key question for you is the last one. What do Amazon, Uber, Walmart, Tesla, and Apple teach us throughout this whole toxic cocktail experience? The answer is this. They were not disrupted by the black swan. They made their own black swan. They created their own momentum. And they got rewarded for that. So are you all in with me on this? And do you truly understand the importance of culture? So how do we fix this? There's 3 priorities in order to build momentum during disruption. People, culture, and strategy. And what I do is I link them and I intertwine them so tightly that it gives you a yellow brick road to follow. And I'll be right there with you. So what do you need to consider putting into place? Well, one of the things you're going to learn about today from me is the Making It Better process. It's an inclusive change process. It unearths valid, verifiable data that's collected from your high potential people who the employees trust. And then it's shared with you, and together you build an inclusive strategy followed by public commitments. Now that's doing something. As a top team, though, you have to provide air cover and support because the workforce and myself and you are going to be challenging long revered beliefs and practices. Sacred cows. So you're going to have to consider having regular one-on-one conversations to root out the bias, any kind of bias, and strive towards transparency and innovation. That's a must-do. So today I'm here to tell you where we've done this all over the world. picking two of my customers, Mattel and BP. Each of them definitely global. Each of them had significant successes and zero failures through multiple locations. Both companies had similar problems before I started with them. The problems fit perfectly into the silent killer categories. At BP, the case was that safety was a cherished value, but it had become nothing but a billboard without legs. Everybody said it, but nobody did it. In each case, the leadership in each of these organizations was not trusted at any level. There was a significant lack of cohesion and coordination up and down, right? And they were definitely not ready for disruption when it showed up. Interestingly enough, they had many C players in A-level roles. And at the same time, the overall performance of the company was sort of strong, so it sort of hid a lot of the silent killers from them, even though leadership knew they were there. I call that poor situational awareness. So here's the work that we've done. Over 90 days in locations. And by the way, these results are still in place today. In some places 10 years ago that we did it. And we follow up with them. And we're really proud of that, by the way. BP took a recordable injury rate of 6.0 and brought it down to 0 for 4 years in this massive location we did work in. On anybody's terms, that's great. Mattel grew its international revenues from about 13% to 67% over a 3-year period. That was enough for the stock market to take heed. And Mattel, we did something really different. We changed out 75% of our leadership team around the world, and we brought people in from outside of the industry. That's change. Because now we've learned, we brought people who are using inclusive processes, inclusive leadership skills, and at the same time, we built a bench of people that we never would have seen on the radar screen without this making it better process. And for the first time at Mattel, the locations we had, they received 100% of their bonus structures for 6 years running. And many of that executive alumni that I hired in from outside of the industry went on to be top leaders within Mattel Corporate and went on to be presidents and executives in other companies around the world. That's exciting. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of our alumni. The fact is our success rate is over 90% while the industry is less than 30%. I know why. I know why, because we dig in. We do it with you, it's inclusive, and the undiscussables get on the tables. The leaders at these companies have realized that culture did not get the proper attention it needed, and that was a significant oversight, and they admitted it. So the work we do with our Making It Better process and our coaching processes assures that the strategy is competitive, that people transformation comes first, and lastly, and most importantly, culture is the only sustainable advantage that you have that can't be copied. So our promise within the first 30 days is to diagnose how the work gets done, inclusively gather verifiable data, and hardwire it to support the change process along with you. If we don't do that, we don't get paid. At the Change Execute, at our group, we serve the difference makers. Will you be a difference maker with us? It's important as a top team to realize you get what you reward and you deserve what you tolerate. Boy, we all have very little tolerance left in us. To partner with you means that we will provide the best counsel we can based on hundreds of similar engagements, hundreds of similar coaching deals, and hundreds of years of top-level blue-chip company experience. I'd like to set up a time to talk to you about our coaching as well as our Making It Better intervention work. It's evidence-based. Hey, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Give us a call. It'll pay off.